Coming up on WMLT News, a deadly school shooting in Washington State left 5 dead and 2 injured.
Plus, a recap of all this semester's biggest stories. All this and more as WMLT starts right now.
Hello and welcome to WMLT News. I'm Sarah White.
And I'm Cole Clunan. One of the most significant moments this semester was the inauguration of Dr. Kendra Bogus as Concord University's 12th president, becoming the first woman to ever be inaugurated. Bogus made history on September 20th in a formal ceremony. Here is a recap of this historical event.
Yes, it is official. History has been made and Dr. Kendra Bogus is officially the 12th president of Concord University. This past weekend, she solidified her presidency with the State of the University address, along with the official inauguration ceremony and swearing in. After the presidential portrait unveiling, we had a chance to talk to Dr. Bogus about what this experience has been for her. Students and faculty have great expectations for Bogus and continue to show support and appreciation for her plan to take Concord into a new era of progress and success.
The most challenging time in higher education, I believe that the moments of the greatest challenge are also to be considered the times of greatest opportunity.
Concord University has undergone renovations all semester in order to make the campus more ADA accessible. One renovation, however, left Concord students being evacuated after contractors struck a pipeline nearby Woodell Hall. The damage to the pipe was minimal, but it was just enough to cause a gas leak. The contractors informed the police, who then told the Woodell resident director and assistants to evacuate the building immediately. Students and staff were also evacuated from nearby buildings until the contractors could assure that the situation was safe. No one was harmed throughout the evacuation process, and students were able to return to their dorms shortly afterwards.
A business began construction in Athens at the beginning of the semester. Here's Jesse Stevens with more.
At the beginning of the semester, we reported on the new Dollar General store that was being constructed here in Athens. At the time, demolition had just begun of the houses that were in the area previously. But if we fast forward a few months, the new Dollar General is nearing completion. With most of the exterior paving and construction finished, it is only a matter of time before Athens sees its first new business in years. And students at Concord University are anxiously awaiting its arrival.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I can really appreciate that they're bringing more of a variety to the community of Concord and Athens. I wish they would have brought in a larger retail store, though.
With Dollar General paving the way, it could be possible that more businesses move to the Athens area. But until that time, Concord students can contemplate what businesses they would like to see.
Yeah, I would like to also see sit-down restaurants in this area. That would be exciting.
For WMLT News, I'm Jesse Stevens.
Stay tuned. There will be more WMLT after the break. Welcome back. A school shooting at a high school in Washington State has left 5 students dead and 2 more wounded. 15-year-old Jalen Freiberg reportedly had his friends meet him in the school cafeteria for lunch before opening fire on the group at the lunch table they were sitting. Freiberg then shot himself afterwards. Students say that Freiberg was a popular kid, even being named homecoming prince just a week before the shooting. One student died at the scene, while 4 others were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. 3 of the other victims died at the hospital from their wounds. Classes were canceled for the next week and vigils were held the next 2 days following the shooting.
University of Virginia student Hannah Graham originally went missing on September 13th of this year. After an extensive search and investigation, Graham's remains were found in a field on October 18th, about 10 miles away from Charlottesville, where she was last seen. The police have one suspect in custody, a man named Jesse Matthew. Surveillance footage downtown Charlottesville showed Graham with Matthew the night of her disappearance. Matthew was arrested a few days later in Texas and charged with abduction with intent to defile and has been linked by forensic evidence to the case of Morgan Harrington, a Virginia Tech student who was last seen in October of 2009. No charges have been filed in the Harrington case yet, and Matthew's next court appearance in relation to Graham's case is set for December 4th of this year.
A few months before the NFL draft, Missouri football star and NFL draft prospect Michael Sam told the world that he is gay. Sam was a defensive lineman for the University of Missouri Tigers and was drafted by the Rams in the 7th round with the 249th overall pick, making him the first openly gay player in the history of the NFL. However, Sam was cut by the Rams at the end of training camp and shortly after was signed to the Dallas Cowboys practice squad. Sam was waived from the Cowboys on October 21st and is yet to be signed by another team.
The jury decision regarding the shooting of Michael Brown at Ferguson is expected later this month. Police forces in the area are braced with bulletproof vests and tear gas in case the verdict sparks heat again over the shooting. However, the role of the police will be reduced as Missouri has called out the National Guard as a precaution as well. With Governor Jay Nixon declaring a state of emergency last Monday, the indictment will be decided in late November, and citizens are worried about it repeating over itself if something isn't done. The state of emergency will last 30 days unless it is extended.
In a deadly outbreak that has killed over 5,000 people in 3 small West African countries, the Ebola virus has been in and out of the United States in small isolated patches, usually single-person patches. The virus, which has no cure, was introduced into the U.S. when an infected Liberian man boarded a plane bound for the United States. He later died. However, 2 of the nurses who assisted in treating him were infected with the virus as well. They both survived. Recently, though, a United States citizen who was a surgeon in Sierra Leone during the outbreak recently returned to the U.S. but died from the virus. While there is currently no known cure, doctors are hopeful that one of the several treatment methods they are working on will eventually end the disease.
Known as ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria has been known for killing thousands. Known for everything from public executions to crucifixions, they have taken over large areas of northern and western Iraq. In June earlier this year, the United Nations announced that an estimated 1.2 million Iraqis had been forced from their homes. The group, which rules by Sharia law, has been in the news all across the world for its publicized beheadings of Americans in response to the airstrikes being carried out by the United States military. ISIS has been condemned by the United Nations for war crimes and crimes against humanity. And while there has not been an authorization for American boots on the ground, there will be a continuing effort to push back the ISIS militants.
Despite a ceasefire in September, tensions between Russia and Ukraine have been on the rise again recently. The dispute began after pro-Russian separatists occupied government buildings as well as Moscow's invasion of Crimea. Despite the presidential meetings in August, which were an effort to smooth tensions between the two countries, Germany's foreign minister shuttled between Kiev and Moscow on Tuesday in an effort to stop the war between Ukraine's government forces and Russian-backed separatists. Doing summits in Asia earlier this November, Putin faced criticism for his handling of the Ukraine situations. Russia also faces sanctions from the United States and the European Union.
At the beginning of the semester, our woman on the street, Patrice Mitchell, went out on campus in an attempt to break stereotypes and find students' hidden qualities by asking the question, what would someone not know just by looking at you?
here's Brad Sullivan and Justin McPeak with this week's sports.
Thanks, guys. But before we recap,
Concord met Shepherd this past weekend for the Mountain East Conference Championship game. Concord won 29-20.
Concord was led by two Mountain East Conference Players of the Week. Special Teams Player of the Week, Tico Henderson, who returned a kickoff 92 yards for a touchdown, and Defensive Player of the Week, Daryl Johnson, who blocked what would have been the game-tying field goal in overtime that was returned for a touchdown and sealed the deal for the conference championship for the Mountain Lions.
Now, for other college football updates, the 4 teams that are in the college football playoffs right now are Mississippi State, Florida State, Alabama, and Oregon. And for other local college football news, the Thundering Herd currently have a 10-0 record, and the West Virginia Mountaineers are currently at 6-4.
In the NFL, it was announced today that running back Adrian Peterson will be suspended for the rest of the year for his role in a child abuse case.
And the 2 teams that are leading the top of their conferences are the New England Patriots on top of the AFC and the Arizona Cardinals at the top of the NFC. It's a tight race for the NFC North, with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh tied for first place. We here at WMLT are not biased at all. We try and keep it very professional. Go Steelers.
All right. Well, after that outburst, it's time for the top 5 games for this fall semester. Coming in at number 5, Concord women's volleyball against Notre Dame. After splitting the first 4 sets, the Lady Mountain Lions were able to edge out a 15-13 win in the 5th set to win the match. In this game, Concord was led by seniors Sarah Jones and Brittany Willis, who both had 23 kills. At number 4, we have the men's soccer team with a 2-1 win over Urbana in overtime. Concord was led by goalie Mitchell Thompson, who allowed only 1 goal with 10 saves. At number 3, we have the Concord football team versus Charleston. Down by 3 with under 2 minutes remaining, quarterback Brian Novak threw a 7-yard touchdown pass to sophomore wide receiver Devon McGill for the 24-20 victory. Number 2, the women's soccer team with a 2-1 win over Shepherd, with Abby Barber scoring a goal in the 89th minute of the game. On our list at number 1 is Concord versus Shepherd for the Mountain East Championship. After a back-and-forth game, Concord's kicker Andy Ellington made a 43-yard field goal in overtime. On the next possession, Shepherd got in field goal range, but the kick was blocked by defensive tackle Daryl Johnson and returned for a touchdown by Jeremiah Johnson for the Mountain East Championship and a 29-20 victory. Next, we have the top 5 individual performances of the fall season. At number 5, we have Concord men's soccer goalie Mitchell Thompson with a 10-save game in a win against Urbana. Number 4, we have volleyball Sarah Jones, who had 23 kills and 43 attempts in a 3-1 win against Alderson Broadus. Number 3 is women's soccer player Emily Cole. Cole scored 2 goals with only 2 shots on goal and 1 assist in an 8-0 win against Salem International. Our runner-up for best performance of the year goes to Concord wide receiver TJ Smith. Smith had 212 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 51-14 win over Notre Dame. And from that same game, we get our number 1 performance of the year by Concord running back Calvin All Jones. Jones carried the ball 16 times for 188 yards, an impressive 11.8-yard average. Jones also had a 69-yard run for a touchdown in the game. That's all we have for sports this week. I'm Brad Sullivan.
And I'm Justin McPeak.
It was an exciting semester for fall sports. We're looking forward to the winter and spring seasons. See you guys
next
then.
time.
And now here's Jesse Stevens with this week's Ticket or Leave It.
Thanks, guys. Well, it's been a long semester and we've looked at some great movies, but there are a few that really stood out. However, for the sake of a classic recap, we'll work from the worst to the best films of the fall of 2014. Let's start from the bottom, The Maze Runner. Cheesy and surprisingly overrated, it claims the spot of worst film of the semester. Next, Let's Be Cops. Once again, an overrated film. It was supposed to be a comedy, but it really wasn't that funny. And last but not least, When the Game Stands Tall. It was a phenomenal story, but in terms of cinema, it just didn't work. But let's move on. There have been a lot of really great films this semester, so here are the long-awaited top films of the fall. The runner-up is $1 Million Arm. This is the story of a sports agent who finds new baseball talent in cricket players. This was a heartfelt movie with an almost perfect ending. The movie scored 4 out of 5 and is the second best film of the fall. But the #1 film of the entire semester was Fury. Fury tells the story of a group of tank operators in World War II. Fury is a thrill ride and an emotional adventure. It also scored 4 out of 5 stubs, but Fury claims the title of Best Film of the Fall 2014 semester. Well, that's it for Ticket or Leave It for this week and for the semester. We'll see you again in the spring. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Jesse. Now here's Dalton Boggs with Arcadian Game Review.
Thanks, guys. The holiday season is just around the corner, and a lot of you may be making a list of games to pick up during Black Friday this year. Let me help and give you my top 5 list of games for this year. Number 5 on the list is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. This first-person shooter is a great game to pick up. It's fast-paced, it's action-packed, it's everything you could want and more in a video game. Number 4 on the list is Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. Mario Kart is a classic game that spans across generations of ages, and this latest addition to the series will keep you sucked in for days. It's incredibly fun and definitely worth picking up. Number 3 on the list is Middle-earth: Shadows of Mordor. The game is incredibly addicting, combining elements of stealth and killer combo attacks that make for incredibly enthralling fight scenes. Number 2 on the list is Dragon Age: Inquisition. The third game in the Dragon Age series, Inquisition has impressive visuals and a thrilling, immersive story. You could almost call it a close-up match with the Mass Effect series. Finally, our number 1 spot goes to Smash Bros. 4 for the Nintendo Wii U. This game is perfect for parties with people, or even by yourself. Either way, it's loads of fun and has unlimited play value. Well, that's it for this week on Arcadian. This is Dalton Boggs logging off, and I'll see you guys during the spring.
Thanks, Dalton. Although homecoming has passed, the events and festivities that went on throughout homecoming week are still alive in the hearts of students all over campus. Here's a recap of homecoming 2014.
This is for everyone that's 21 and older that has a first and a $10 bill. They have a beer garden. We have a beer garden. We've grown up this year. 2014 beer garden and on record, fire eater. Don't try to home. Give it up, Concord. Homecoming has just begun.
Sigma 5. First place, International Flight.
That's all for WMLT News. We'll see you next semester. I'm Cole Clunan.
And I'm Sarah White. Bye, guys.